So balancing capacity in Germany. The balancing capacity in Germany. Main goal of the German Transmission System Operators TSO is to balance generation and demand of electricity within their load frequency control areas, or LFC areas. At any point in time, in order to do so, TSOs use different types of balancing services: Frequency Containment Reserve, the FCR, Automatic Frequency Restoration Reserve, the AFRR, and Manual Frequency Restoration Reserves, MFRRs, which differ with regard to type and time of activation. Since 2001, German TSOs have procured the required FCR, AFRR, and MFRR as an open, transparent, and non-discriminatory market, according to the requirements of the National Regulatory Authority. The overall amount of balancing capacity in Germany is reduced by the cooperation of the transmission system operators in the German Grid Control Cooperation, or the GCC. Dimensioning. The FCR demand is determined on a European level according to the Guideline on Transmission System Operation, GLSO. The dimensioning incident in the continental European synchronous area is 3,000 megawatts. The distribution of the required frequency containment reserve to the LFC areas is annually calculated on the basis of each LFC area's power generation and demand. For the determination of the required capacity of AFRR and MFRR, the German TSOs use a common dimensioning methodology. Since December 9, 2019, the required balancing capacity is no longer dimensioned quarterly but dynamically for every 4-hour block. This new dimensioning method takes into account the changing regulatory framework, especially GL and SO. Procurement. The procurement of balancing capacity is a two-stage bidding price procedure: capacity price and energy price, with the participation of several balancing service providers. All types of balancing capacity are tendered on a daily basis, D7. In the tender, the different minimum bid sizes are defined, which have to be taken into account by the market participants. While the minimum bid size for an FCR is 1 megawatt, bids for AFRR and MFRR have to be at least a size of 5 megawatts. A bid size of less than 5 megawatts is permitted under the condition, but the provider must submit only one bid per product in the respective LFC area. Pre-qualification. In order to be admitted to the tenders of the different balancing services, power plant operators and customers, they have to meet various requirements. This is checked by the TSOs. During the pre-qualification, the common pre-qualification documents can be downloaded using the following link. Luxembourgian technical units will be given access to the FCR cooperation by Amperion starting from the 1st of June 2020. For this purpose, Creos and Amperion have developed a cooperation model. The model intends Amperion to take over the role of connecting TSO. Activation of balanced energy. The activation of the procured balancing capacity differs depending on the type of balancing services. While the FCR is activated decentrally in the entire synchronous area of the basis of frequency deviation in accordance with the solidarity principle, AFRR and MFRR are activated in accordance with the polluter pays principle. This means that AFRR and MFRR is activated by the TSO, who is responsible for the LFC area, which causes the imbalance. AFRR is activated automatically to replace FCR where TSOs request the use of MFRR manually. Publication. So there's tender results, quantities, and prices published on Regelleistung.net. So Regelleistung.net. Interesting. So international cooperation and balancing platforms. In addition to the cooperation of German TSOs at the national level within the framework of the GCC, there are also various cooperation projects at international level. For example, the TSOs of Austria and Germany activate AFRR and MFRR energy for common merit orders. If cross-border transmission capacity is available, so since February 2020, an AFRR capacity is also commonly procured as part of an AFRR cooperation between Germany and Austria. Furthermore, Amperion is working together with the other European TSOs on the establishment of the European balancing platforms to create a single European market for balancing energy within the framework of the implementation of the European Guideline for Energy Balancing, or GLEB. Further information on the individual platforms can be found at Picasso, Mary, Imbalance Netting, FCR, or Terry. Woo! So if you've ever wondered how the power system in Germany works, I'm sure you're still wondering, because that was a lot to get through. I still have a few questions, but it seems pretty straightforward overall. Like, who's allowed to be part of the AFRR market? Is that only for power producers? Or is that for large customers as well? Because it says you need, a bid size of 5 megawatts. But I'm not really sure if like a Ford factory or something has enough size. Could they be a negative AFRR? Maybe an aluminum smelter, something like that. That would be an interesting question I have. I guess we can look at the pre-qualifications. So the Pre-Qualifications für die Vorhaltung und Erbringung von Regelreserve. Potenzielle Anbieter für die verschiedenen Arten von Regelreserve können sich an einem Präqualifikationsverfahren beteiligen, bei dem sie den Nachweis erbringen, dass sie der Gewährleistung der Versorgungssicherheit erforderlichen Anforderungen für die Erbringung einer oder mehr Arten von Regelreserve erfüllen. Für alle Regelreservationen, FCR, AFRR, MFRR, erfolgt die Prequalifikation ausschließlich bei demjenigen UMB in diesen LFR-Zone die betreffenden technische Einheiten, Stromerzeugungsanlagen und oder Verbrauchseinheiten unabhängig von der Man, I cannot read German. I apologize to my viewer. Spannungsebene. Guy quit. This has just turned into a disaster. Maybe another day. Chat. Whew. So that's the prequel. Next.